अच्छा स्टूडेंट्स, ये कुछ एग्जांपल्स मैं आप लोगों के साथ शेयर कर रहा हूँ। ये समरी के बारे में मैं तो ऑलरेडी आप लोगों के साथ वो डिस्कस किया कि हमारे पास जो डाइवर्सिटी है उसका पर्सपेक्टिव किस चीज़ पे ज़्यादा है। तो बायोग्राफिकल करेक्टरिस्टिक उसकी एबिलिटी और डाइवर्सिटी प्रोग्राम्स पे है। इसके हवाले से मैंने आपको ये भी बता दिया कि कैसे जो है डाइवर्सिटी प्रोग्राम्स रन होती हैं, उसमें सिलेक्शन कैसे होती हैं, और उसी डाइवर्सिटी मैनेजमेंट में हम कैसे अपनी कमिटमेंट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन और उसकी डेवलपमेंट के साथ कैसे वो हम पेश आते हैं। तो ये कुछ चीज़ें मैंने आप लोगों के साथ डिस्कस की। इसके हवाले से मैं आपके साथ एक वीडियो भी शेयर करूँगा जो आप लोग अपने लिए फ्यूचर में इसको आप इस्तेमाल भी कर सकते हैं, अपने साथ जो है इस एग्जाम के लिए प्रिपरेशन भी कर सकते हैं। इसके कॉन्सेप्ट्स को बनाने के लिए इसके लिए मैं आप लोगों के साथ ये वीडियो शेयर कर रहा हूँ। कोशिश करें कि इस वीडियो को भी देख लें और इसमें अगर कोई क्वेश्चन हो तो आप फिर बाद में पूछ सकते हैं, ठीक है। तो ये मैं आपके साथ ये शेयर कर रहा हूँ, ये वीडियो यहाँ पर। Further perspectives on diversity management. My name is Ben, and I work as a consultant for diversity and change management. Because nowadays the majority of successful organizations act globally, diversity at the workplace seems to be more common than ever. Organizations not only have to face diversity in society, but also within individuals. Since every personality consists out of a variety of multiple and diverse aspects, identities become more and more complex. But how can an organization deal with the diversity provided by society as well as by its employees? Today, you can join me with my newest client. The company Tulip is an organization that provides a platform for self-publishing authors. Tulip wants to expand its business globally. Therefore, they want to implement a diversity strategy. At the moment, we are at their headquarters in Berlin. I'm consulting them to figure out the right strategic focus. Participating in today's meetings are Paul, the CEO, Amina, the head of human resources, and Lucas, the head of recruitment. We are in the middle of a debate on how the company should deal with issues which occur in a global market. In the last years, they've come to realize that their strategy and the structures of the company neither fit the needs of the employees, nor do they meet the requirements of an increasingly diverse society. Since most of the company's current workforce is relatively homogeneous, Lucas, the head of recruitment, would like to enhance the company's diversity by creating a quota for minority groups within the company. This approach is called the fairness and discrimination paradigm, which is characterized by the belief that a culturally diverse workforce is a moral imperative to ensure justice and the fair treatment of all members of society. It focuses on providing equality of outcome in the hiring process and within the company itself. This perspective negates differences among employees. While it is very important to create equal opportunities, you should also consider that the differences of your employees cannot be ignored because they are an important element of the organization. Paul, the CEO, wants to know how his company can expand its business on an international level. He would like to use the diversity of his employees to meet the local requirements of other economies. To handle the international market requirements, you could implement the access and legitimacy paradigm. This perspective is based on recognizing that the organization's markets and target groups are culturally diverse. The company matches the market requirements with the diversity of their own workforce. While this perspective offers great economic advantages, ultimately people are reduced to their minority background. The employees are seen one-dimensionally, and the range of one's personal identity is not visible to the company. As a result, the risk of stereotyping is extremely high. Amina, the head of HR, sees diversity as a chance for the staff's personal development. She would like to implement structures that enable organizational learning through the employees. Amina's approach matches the way diversity is perceived through the recent scientific discourse. The learning and effectiveness paradigm is focused on enabling sustainability through organizational learning. This approach follows the strategy of understanding diversity as a resource. In other words, the whole organization is able to learn from the knowledge of every single employee.
Similarities and differences of employees are seen as equal aspects, and they are both included on a strategic level. Categories like gender, ethnicity, or age no longer serve as an instrument for implementing diversity in an organization. Rather than only accepting and respecting differences, any kind of diversity is actively encouraged and integrated. You might want to know which paradigm is the right one. Well, diversity is not a one-way street. Each paradigm can contribute to successful implementation of diversity management. Let's look at an approach that connects the three paradigms and tries to apply diversity management as a sustainable element of an inclusive organizational culture. We'll refer to it as the collaborative process and structure paradigm. This perspective implements structure as well as processes to address the way that diversity is lived and communicated by members of an organization. Multiple identities are accepted as a part of every individual's personality. This means that each employee is part of different collectives within the organization. Let's look at an example. Lucas is part of the recruitment team, but he is also a single father, a passionate cook, and a practicing Muslim. He should be given the possibility to share any part of his identity he prefers. Therefore, a company should apply structures that allow differences and similarities at the same time. Employees are included into the organizational culture when they feel valued in their individual uniqueness. In this approach, differences between people are seen as a connecting element and diversity as a valuable resource. But how can an organization implement this perspective? Structures that integrate a continuous development of diversity can be created by connecting human resources, organizational development, and internal as well as external communication management. Hence, diversity cannot be the responsibility of only one department, but rather has to be integrated in every part of the organizational structure. Since leaders play an important role in every change process, their function as role models is needed to communicate and support the implementation of diversity. The leaders should support the employees to make their multiple identities and competencies transparent in order to use them to the organization's advantage. Each person should be treated as an expert who enriches the organizational environment through a unique perspective. The collaborative process and structure paradigm aims to develop a diversity competence on an organizational and individual level. Within a continuous process, plurality must be constantly evaluated, adapted, and developed to promote networking, creativity, and innovation. Your personal approach will strongly depend on your understanding of diversity. How will you diversify?
Just students, this was a video example of diversity management. If you know how diversity works in an organization and how it can be managed, ठीक है? तो ये था कुछ एक एग्जांपल जो मैंने आप लोगों के साथ शेयर किया. अगर आप लोग और भी देखना चाहते हैं तो I can share with you. So this was just an example that how diversity can be managed in an organization and how it can foster innovation. ठीक है? So this is the end of your lecture. और कोशिश करते हैं कि नेक्स्ट क्लास में भी इसी तरह की वीडियोज मैं आप लोगों के साथ शेयर करूं और ताकि आप लोग को कुछ समझ आ जाए. ठीक है, चलिए जी, बेस्ट ऑफ लक फॉर योर नेक्स्ट क्लास. अल्लाह हाफिज़.